How's it going, everybody? This is Mikey back with another video. Today we're going to talk a little bit more college football, so let's just get into it. We'll start with Ohio State. I predicted Oregon to beat them, and yeah, it was a bloodbath. They beat Oregon 41-21, and it honestly wasn't even that close. It was 34-0, I believe, at one point. They just got onto them from the start. And Ohio State, they had the best talent in college football. They just haven't been consistent and haven't reached their full potential. But these last two playoff games they have, and they are by far the best team right now remaining. I did not see this coming, but props to Ohio State. They are really playing some good ball right now. And that, I guess, leads to Texas. I don't know what that was. I said in my last video that I didn't think Arizona State or Texas could win the championship, but I did not expect Texas to, almost lose that game. It went into double overtime, and Texas had to convert on a fourth down. They were trailing in the game, a fourth and long, and wow, Arizona State almost pulled it off. That would have been pretty nice, but Texas is just lost, man. They probably have the second best roster in terms of talent in college football behind Ohio State, but they do not look like it. They are not coached very well. They don't play very well. And I don't know if it's Quinn Ewers. That's what people are saying. It might just be their quarterback play. They have Arch Manning behind him, so we'll see if he plays against Ohio State if Quinn isn't producing, but I think it'll be tough either way for Texas to beat Ohio State, so I got Ohio State beating Texas. And then Penn State Notre Dame, that should be a good game. Notre Dame beat Georgia to get into this game, and I predicted Georgia, of course, to win it all, so yeah, I went 1 for 3, I think, to start, so that's excellent. And the two teams that I had in the championship lost in the first round, Georgia and Oregon. And the games, well, Oregon, that game, Oregon Ohio State was not close. Georgia Notre Dame, there was 3 plays that just cost the game, and I don't really want to get into it because a lot of people have talked about it already, but that was kind of shocking. I did not expect that. Good for Notre Dame. That was a good win. Georgia had their backup quarterback, and I don't honestly think that's why they lost. Even with Carson Beck in there, I think they probably would have lost that game. But with that being said, I think Notre Dame is going to win this game. I don't believe in Penn State. And I know I said that last week about Ohio, or not last week, but my last video about Ohio State, and they dominated. So Penn State will probably win this game, but I got Notre Dame, and of course Ohio State is going to beat Texas more than likely. Who do I want to win out of these teams? No one. Honestly, I don't really like either team or any team that's in here. Ohio State beat Bama in 2014, so I've always had a disdain for them ever since then. Notre Dame, I liked Miami more than Notre Dame back in the day, so be that as it will. And then Penn State, I used to like Penn State, but, they just have a lot of bad energy still. I know it's been over a decade, but it's hard to recover from that. And then you have Texas, of course, and they're in the SEC. I guess I'll root for Texas just because, like I said, they're the last SEC team, but honestly, I do not care. I don't have a dog in the fight for the rest of the playoffs. It's probably going to be Ohio State if they play to the level that they're capable of. But who knows? They haven't this season, and it just takes one game. I honestly think it's wide open. I don't think it's as clear as people think that it's going to be Ohio State. And that leads me into wanting to talk about next year. And we can just talk about Michigan. Alabama just played them in the bowl game, and God, that was just ridiculous. Can't remember if I talked about it in the last video or not. I know I talked about Alabama, but I don't know if that game happened already or not. But yeah, Michigan looks good, and they beat Alabama without their three of their best defensive players, two on the defensive line, and then their cornerback, Will Howard. Excuse me, sorry. I need some water. Gotta clear my throat. But yeah, Michigan, they have a lot of good energy coming into next year. They have the number one quarterback in the nation. I think he's the number one player in the nation signing, and he's a Michigan native, so they're going to be tough next year and moving forward. Jim Harbaugh leaving, you think that they were going to take a step back, and they obviously did from winning the national championship the previous year, but going 8-5, beating Alabama, beating Ohio State your last two games, getting the number one player in the nation, definitely the number one quarterback, but I believe the number one player in the nation who is a native in your state, that's big, man. And Alabama, I know we talked about it, and something that came to mind is with the NIL and them needing funding potentially because they don't have a lot of wealthy boosters. Think of how many players Alabama got into the draft. I mean, that alone should be able to pay for, players coming there. If they just ask their ex-players that went into the NFL. Sorry, I hit the mic if the audio got messed up. But imagine that. You just ask your players to donate money. And I'm sure they might have, but I don't see how if you can get even like 50%. I don't think people realize how many Alabama players were drafted under Nick Saban. And if they can get them to pitch in, I think that it'll be fine. We can get the talent, and moving forward we should be good. But that leads into where college football should go, and at this point they just need to make it the NFL light. I don't know if they need to make it two conferences. I actually still like it being the Power 4, I guess, now, and then you have a group of 5 conference that can, one team from the group of 5 can get into the playoffs. I actually like that format, but what I'm talking about is having a salary cap for each team, having a commissioner for college football as a whole, and what else? Salary cap. I think those are the two biggest things, because Ohio State has the best roster, and it's been reported that they have spent $20 million. Texas has the second best roster, close to that they've spent for NIL. And what is NIL? Because NIL is supposed to be name, image, and likeness. So that means that a player can, how it's supposed to be is a player can make money off of working with other businesses, using their image. So for example, like the commercials you see for KFC with Shador, that's what NIL is supposed to be. But how it is operating is these players are just getting money directly from the colleges, which that's completely fine. just make it legal. And I guess it is legal, but make it clear and obvious that is what's going on. Make it a salary cap. I don't let it be 15 million, 20 million, I don't know. For each team, make it even different. Maybe the Power 5 or even SEC and Big Ten, however they want to do it, they have a larger salary cap than other schools because they have more money, obviously. But how it's going, it's not going to sustain itself. And people already know that. The NCAA already knows that. The universities already know that. So we'll see what they do, but change is definitely going to happen. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.